Hello there, and welcome to Women's Business.
My name is Dr. Marianne Shallcross Smith, known to most as Dr. Daycare, and this is my co-host, Amy Vogel. We'd like to welcome you to our mentoring program designed to educate our community on issues facing working women. We will be speaking to our guests in the areas art, sciences, health, education, law, medicine, politics, community service, military, and business.
The goal of the show is to provide information that comes only from personal experience and to pass this information down to our daughters, nieces, neighbors, family, and friends. Much of the content will relate to the guest speaker's journey in their profession, what they have learned most about this process, and what they wished they had known before this journey began. Since women-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of our economy, my guests will close with what lesson they would like to pass on to the viewing audience.
Hello there. Thank you for joining me on Women's Business. I am honored to welcome Erica Hope Guatieri. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're a CPA.
Yes.
Yes, we're going to hear a lot about how you went into your own business. This is going to be absolutely fun.
Yes,
After
exciting.
Amy gives us a quote.
When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful.
There you go. Really neat. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So as you mentioned, I'm a CPA. I recently just opened my own CPA practice. So I am 1 year, almost probably to the day of being on my own. So very exciting.
Happy
So you kind of
anniversary.
took my little anniversary show
Yes.
here. So this is
Yes.
great. Yep. So I was at a local firm for 16 years, and then decided to venture off on my own. So it's been an exciting time for me this last year, like a blink of an eye.
What made you take the plunge onto your own? Because that's a big step, going from probably a very safe firm where everything to something where you're like, I can do this on my own.
Right. There's a lot of things that sort of play into it. I just saw that the profession is changing, and I sort of wanted to get ahead of certain things that were happening that I could kind of foresee. And I just decided, what better way than to just kind of make that one step first on my own, and then kind of see what happens after that. So, and this is Women in Business, so I know there's also a lot of women out there that like to work with women, CPAs, or just in general. So that was also,
That's great.
You said you saw a lot of changes in the profession. What types of changes have you seen?
Yeah, so just a lot of retirements, really, a lot of mergers, a lot of
baby
big
boomers
firms.
going over
right,
the hill,
exactly. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of a gap there. I feel as though a lot of employees out of school, once those big firms are established, just stayed as an employee, and there's not that gap there. So to help some small businesses, as maybe they don't want to stay with these large firms that are coming into town. And establish that one-on-one relationship, because that's huge. Even though I work with numbers, I feel as though the interaction and the relationships is really the key to that. So
I think no matter what business you do, very good point, relationships are huge.
Right.
Without the relationship that you have built on trust and communication, it doesn't go anywhere. So
absolutely.
No matter what you do professionally.
Right.
So tell me, what do small businesses need? I used to, just to give you an idea, been in business 47 years. I was one of these people that showed up with the shoebox
of fun
everything.
stuff.
I've been organized throughout the years, let me tell you, and thanks to an absolutely wonderful finance department too, and Dr. Daycare. But tell me, tell the audience, what do people need, especially
absolutely.
small business, because you do need a CPA, absolutely.
Right, and I feel as though, sometimes, obviously, especially small business startups don't feel as though the cost to have an accountant or a CPA come in, they're not, you're not necessarily growing their revenue piece, but I think it's crucial because you start to kind of spiral out of control with not having your books together. And what if an investor comes in after a year or a few years and they want a quick turnaround on financial statements or tax returns, and just doesn't look professional if you can't provide that. So I feel as though your CPA can really help you sort of compile everything and keep your records in place, and also help you save from a tax standpoint as well. So.
Now, with your new CPA firm that you've established, do you do personal, business, or all?
Right, I do all. So personal and business, corporate returns.
Which you prefer?
They're both fun, right? Well, taxes,
Really?
Wow,
Taxes,
numbers
that's
fun.
We had a couple coming in together doing taxes.
It's interesting you said it was fun.
Right.
I don't really see it that way, but that's good to know. It can be fun.
Well, I mean,
Erica.
you're helping someone in the end as
Yes,
well.
you
So
are.
I feel as though, if you have a business client and they're individuals, that it starts with the business, helping them there, and then it sort of trickles into their personal and help with them saving there. So, it's nice to be able to see that and watch them grow too.
Now, do you feel like a lot of younger people today, or even couples, like my husband and I do our own taxes online, which is probably not the norm of when my parents were doing theirs. They always had someone do them for them.
Right.
Do you see a difference in trending like that? Or
I feel with
and do you think that's safe? Because I'm always afraid we're like, they're like, oh, you have a 2% chance of getting audited. I'm like, what?
Right. I try to be very honest with new clients that come on, and if it's a basic return, I'm not going to try to get you to come on just because I want to charge you the money for it. If I feel as though you can go on a lot of these websites and a lot of things that you can, where you can prepare the returns are pretty good for somebody that just has a basic, W-2 and not too much going on. But anything more than that, I feel as though you should probably reach out to a CPA because you just don't want to miss something.
And the tax code just changed in the last year or two, so there are whole different aspects that you you really need to be involved in and know a little bit more about.
Right.
Once again, I give that
the
to
government's
my
given us
CPA.
a good job security as CPAs.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's hard as an
totally.
individual. It's hard to follow all of that,
Right.
Unless you're into the industry.
Exactly.
Like I know every year we do it. I'm like, we probably did not do what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Like we probably did it right, but like
Right,
we probably we probably could have got ourselves more than what we did. You know.
And I like what you said about the personal relationship. I think that's important when you get to know the person behind your taxes, which is behind your money, who's saving your money.
Right.
Compared to, I'm not going to go into the names, but the ones out there with the thing, come here, tax here, come to the door and we'll do your tax. I'm like, who could just show up at a strip mall and have their taxes done?
Exactly.
Is that like me or like?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's
couldn't do that.
that's not for everyone, but I mean, there probably is a certain part of the population that fits well for them. But I feel as though, for me anyways, that I really, I cherish my relationships with my clients because it's more than just, okay, come in and give me your tax returns and then I'll see you next year. A good amount of my clients I'm talking to all throughout the year. And it's not even sometimes about just their taxes. It's even, if it's their business is growing, do you want to come to this event with me so that we can, I can help you. So, to me, that's the biggest piece as well.
That's great.
So why did you choose to be a CPA? Was it a family thing? Did you do good math when you were a kid?
Right,
Like,
so I feel as though that's, twofold. I did take a class that was offered in high school, my senior year.
All right,
And I had received some, I forget the name, business award at that time. And then
Congratulations.
I also had an aunt that had passed away, and she was a CPA. So, I sort of wanted to kind of continue with that as well.
And did you go to school locally, or did you?
I did. I went to Bryant.
another
Born and raised in Rhode Island, didn't leave.
No, Bryant's a great business school,
So
and
it
they have
is.
a very, very good reputation.
Right.
Along the way, I know you mentioned your aunt, but did you have anyone else that mentored you up your career? Because again, it's very hard to leave an organization and start your own business. Everyone thinks
Right.
it's just like you put a sign up and, oh, I'm in business, but it's not
No,
that
it's not
simple.
No, I've had I can't really probably pinpoint just one. I've had multiple mentors along the way who have helped me, encouraged me, and I was also able to pick their brains as to, should I be doing this, or what do you really think? Or, because you kind of sometimes, when you have this big idea, you may need someone to kind of bring you back down to reality a little bit. So, but yes, multiple mentors that I still talk to, fairly regularly, so.
And you said you've been in business a year, so there's advertising. So we have women's business, and Rebecca's going to put on YouTube. We're going to get you a disc and everything. We're going to go on, I call it still Cox Peg. But what ways, if you were going into this business, someone out there watching the show, so I think I might want a CPA, what ways would you tell them how to get involved, and how would you advertise?
So,
Because you're like a one-man show.
right, I'm a one-man show,
I should say,
and
really.
I feel as though Rhode Island's small, right? So
Yes,
I
it
feel
is.
as though
Yes, it is.
I was getting involved in the community. I'm on the board at the Rhode Island Society of CPAs. I'm a few other member on boards, And I feel as though that helps as well. You know, it's really, a lot of it is self-promotion in a service industry.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can definitely put an ad out or use social media, and that helps tremendously, but it's that word of mouth. And, you know, I think once you can get out there and people can trust what you're doing, what you have to say, and
Network.
Right.
I actually just, something popped up in my, phone, my internet. The Northern Ireland Chamber of Commerce is doing a workshop on word of mouth. I have not heard word of mouth in such a long time, and hey, you brought it up again. And I really believe to this day that is some of the most number one way to advertise.
Right.
And it's like internet. You know, Facebook, Instagram, and it's like, hey, we're going back to word of mouth.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And being my first year out, that's really the biggest way I've gotten received clients was, you know, people will call and so referred, or you know, so I think that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
I think there's so much information today, it's hard to navigate it all. So now you're depending on word of mouth, people you trust.
Right.
Because, again, you can put a sign up, but you might not be a reputable business. That way you go to your friends or family or colleagues and say, hey, what is it? Can you give me a good CPA? And you trust them because you have a relationship with them.
Exactly.
I think that's probably more so today because there's so much information inundating us all.
Right, exactly.
So as I said, 40 years ago, I showed up with the shoebox. Any apps online that you can tell people to get involved with to get them a little bit organized, so they show up at your desk with the same shoebox?
Oh, I know. There's so many things, you know. I know. I think Expensify helps you with sort of scanning and sorting through. And I even know QuickBooks has their own feature as to, you know, being able to scan and sort it right into the QuickBooks online feature probably as well. I think some of my clients use that Mile IQ, I believe, to track their business miles.
I'm writing this down.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot out there that you can use, so that you don't have to show up with the shoebox of receipts anymore. So.
Now, as an individual, I feel, again, because my husband and I do our own taxes, I feel we miss a lot of like deductions or what would you think the number one miss of people that do it on their own? Like, what do you think they don't do to help themselves? They're giving more money to the government than need be, let's put it that way.
Is that what it comes down to?
Yes, I feel like I don't think we did this right.
Right, exactly. You know, not that I want to plug for other software that helps to prepare an individual's return, but I feel as though if you do go that route, those software, the questions are put in place where it's you're not going to miss some of the basic things, you know. So I think
that like QuickBooks, like that you had mentioned earlier,
right, like the TurboTax or something like that, which is probably the most used. You know, obviously. I just think for a basic return, I think those probably do a good job. But like I said, the more detailed you get, whether you have your own business, rental property, multiple investments, you know, that's when you really probably should reach out to have someone help you.
I should probably be reaching out.
Yes.
I think it's time.
Also, it's like April. I'm like, oh no, we haven't done.
Great contact right
here. I get a lot of those calls, you know.
Oh my gosh. Because it's not like a fun event.
No, I know.
It's interesting. Her husband was born on April 15th.
Oh boy.
Like, I have to think of that. I'm like,
happy
Andy.
birthday, you owe the government money.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say to Andy.
But he was someone's tax deduction, so that was good.
Exactly.
I go, Andy, until I met you, April 15th wasn't the most happiest fun day of my life.
Exactly.
You made it a little bit different.
Well, you know, I think actually kind of going back to the shoebox, you know, if you start to compile your information right away, you know, you start that business, if you start from the beginning, then filing and meeting with your CPA is not going to be as hard, right? Because you're not going to be scrambling for that last minute. And, you know, to try to put a whole year's worth of activity together in a month or so is, after that whole year went by, it's tough. You know?
I actually have a drawer in our desk that's just for tax information. Stuff comes in, throw it in there.
Right.
Like your organization.
Well, that's all I have until like April 1st. Like,
so someone who's thinking of opening up their own, let's say sole proprietor, small business. I'm truly going to say, for being in business 47 years, you need to get yourself a CPA.
Yes,
you need to
absolutely.
truly get yourself a CPA. There is so much to that. And if they can take that piece off your desk and you can really focus in on the business, that certainly is going to help you. But when you get to their desk, you don't want to give the shoebox. You really want to have some organization.
Right,
type
absolutely,
of thing. Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, that's key because one, you're going to focus on what your business is, what you're selling or what you're making or what your service is. You're not going to have time to sit down at the end of the week, say, and try to figure out what did you spend money on, what money came in, you know. I think that if you can get ahead of that right away, even though maybe it's a cost you can't quite afford just yet, it'll pay off in the long run, for sure.
It pays off in the long run.
It's an investment,
Absolutely.
I mean, it says like Google this question. Like sometimes you Google a tax question, which I don't even do that, but people do it. I'm like, no, you really need to know the true life situation.
Right.
So my CPA, several times a year, I'll just ask them this question and get the answer pretty quickly. And like, okay, I need to go in that direction.
Right.
So yeah, it's extremely worthwhile. It's like hairdresser, accountant, all those things you just
Well, it's not even just from a tax standpoint as well, you know. I mean, if you need financing, usually the CPA can help with facilitating that with the banker. If you need a payroll service, you need, you know, a credit card processing company, even just a bank in general to start, you know, anything like that is.
So many services that you have, and you've already built those relationships with banks and payroll companies. So when you make that phone call, it makes it a lot easier to say, I was referred by this person. Yeah, great idea. Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell us how it is to be a woman in business.
Especially very male-dominated.
Right, exactly.
Profession.
It is. You know, you just sort of have to put your blinders on and just kind of keep going forward and just be out there.
We get that.
You know, I feel as though over the years of different things I've been involved in and kind of being at the table with mostly men, I've been able to do that. So I think that that's really key. You just sort of have to, you know, do what you do what you have to do, and you know, ignore any sort of negative noise that may come your way. And I think that
negative noise, such as,
well, just
I like that negative noise.
Right, I don't know. You know, anything that is, you know, maybe someone's looking at, like you said, if someone's, oh, well, you're a woman, or there's still those little boys clubs out there. Where I find it even when referring, you know, some men just want to refer to men still, you know. And I mean, it's definitely changing, and it's not. It's
slowly
just,
changing.
But so that sort of thing, you just have to grow some thick skin. That's all.
You do. You really do. And it's sometimes contrary to how we were raised.
Right.
Well, other than you, Aim.
Right.
Because I did not have, I made sure was raised with real thick skin, really. But no, sometimes it's against a woman's sense. But you're absolutely right. You definitely got to grow that thick skin. It really helps you out there. It does. Yeah.
Yes.
And be a voice and just say it. You know. Be at the table. Be at the table. So how do you balance it all? How do you do it?
How do I balance it all? Well, I feel
I
as
haven't
though
figured
right
that
now
out. I have not figured that out, so I take this in.
It's one big ball, right? I feel like people ask me, you know, what do you do for fun in your personal life? I said, well, I feel like this point, my personal and my work is almost kind of coming together as one, because, you know, I'm really out doing a lot of networking, and now the people that I've been networking that were maybe just an acquaintance have become friends because I see them all the time. So, you know, I think that eventually when you have your own business, it's your life.
Blends,
so it all blends. I think the biggest piece is to find the downtime.
Yes.
So it's almost the time that you're just with yourself. And that is what my struggle is at this point, because I feel like it's 24/7, you know, so.
Well, it's your own business. It's like a baby.
Exactly.
It's like you want, first in the first year, so you're wanting to grow it, you're wanting to do well. And it's when it's all your own, it's different than when someone else's.
Exactly. And, you know, when you have people that, you know, I've had mentors tell me, you know, well, you got to be seen. You don't want people to forget about you. So now, you know, I'm trying to be out and be seen, but at the same time, you know, the work has to get done as well. So you have to find that balance. So that's probably been my biggest challenge in the last year. So.
Other than that challenge, have you had any like startup challenges, or how to establish yourself, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm very grateful for everything that has come my way, and the opportunities and the people that have really helped me and wanted to see me succeed. So I think I'm very lucky that I haven't quite had any challenges in that way. I did have 16 years of experience, so I was, you know, sort of knew what I needed to get.
You got it,
I knew the software, I knew insurances, I knew, you know, what I needed to start. And then I was just kind of, let's go and see what happens. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people have a passion for something, and they jump in head first, which is a beautiful, wonderful thing, but then they don't realize, as you said, insurance, banking, if you do payroll, all of that stuff is things you're not thinking about. You're just thinking like, oh, again, I'm going to put the sign up, I love pottery, let's say.
Right, exactly.
And people are just going to come. And they could, but there's a lot of other parts of business that I think
Exactly.
sometimes you don't want to think about it because it's not the fun part.
Right, right. Well, I feel as though being a CPA and already having had some years of experience under my belt and helping businesses start as well.
You already knew it.
I sort of had a little advantage there,
Yeah.
whereas some startups and new businesses, they're not quite sure. They know their product, they know their service, but that's it, and they need a little more guidance. So
yeah, 16 years in the field, you really know this is where you want to be,
Right.
and this is where you want to go. That's
Right.
fantastic, really.
Right,
So
exactly.
now what you did is just branched off on your own. Now
exactly.
you're doing it.
Right, I'm doing it.
Good
So
for you, yeah.
Now, do you see more women entering the profession? Or
yes, entering the profession.
Yeah.
I feel as though there's a lot more that are taking the accounting classes and entering the profession and seeing what direction they want to go. And I feel like accounting is just a good base in general.
it will never go away.
Right, exactly. I am actually teaching a course at CCRI this semester, because I didn't have anything else to do.
You're like, I'm being seen.
But
That's that ball.
I
That's that
enjoy
ball.
it, and I try to tell the
Yes,
students, this is at least just get the accounting under your belt, and then you can really go in any direction. So,
Oh my God, to have you
Do you
as
like
a
teaching?
adjunct.
I do.
Do you? That's
I
great.
do. Yeah, I
Gosh,
do.
I tried it for a while.
Yeah.
It's for a very long time. It's
I mean, I like it. I hope
Most
the
people
students like
love
it. I
it.
guess we'll see when they.
My husband taught CCRI for like 18
Right.
years and loves it, really. It's you're getting the best of your knowledge,
Right.
the best of your working world, the best of what you've done in 16 years.
Right.
And these students are sitting there and they're getting the best
Exactly.
of the real world.
Exactly.
It's
I feel like
fantastic.
it was me giving back a little bit. It was nice. It's nice
That's a
to.
big give back,
so,
really.
Yeah.
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 Then,
it's-
I
And
know
you might
that side of
inspire
it.
someone to
Right.
become a
Yeah.
CPA.
Right.
Which is,
Exactly.
and when I was in high school, my favorite class was accounting. It made sense.
Right.
I'm like, it has to even, it's equal, everything goes in a
Exactly.
column. I like this.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
That's when you used to do it on the ledger, whatever.
Oh, the one right sheets.
Yes.
The green sheets. that
yes,
they had,
with
yeah.
like the checkerboards. Like,
Yeah, we just put the audience to sleep really quick.
Yeah.
So.
Do they do that anymore, or no? It's all on.
Oh, well, I'm sure there are some
my
clients that still,
But
are
then
old
you don't teach
school,
that
but
way.
No.
I'm
No.
showing my age.
No.
This summer we did a
I don't know what they'd say paper. I don't even think they know what to do. you know?
Really?
It has a pencil. They'd be like, "What is
Yeah,
that?"
I'm like, we had a double underline.
Exactly. Yes.
Now
Exactly.
you know you've been out of school for a long
Oh
time.
my gosh, I remember the swell. And then like everything, they don't even do it that way. Oh my God,
Yep.
I'm really old.
This summer, the state of Rhode Island had what they call Prepare Rhode Island. It was interns coming into all businesses in Rhode Island to try internship for the summer, 8 to 10 weeks. And the students sat down. Some of them wanted to be teachers. Some of them wanted to be marketing. So they had that experience. So our business too. Would that to me is so important. You said you took a course in high school, opened up your
Right.
whole idea. This is where I want to be. Is there anything out there that students who really, really think they want to go into this? Is there anything out there they can do, or someone they talk
Actually,
to, or
through
contact?
through the Rhode Island Society of CPAs, which I had mentioned, I'm on the board. So that's similar to, say, the bar
Oh, yeah.
association.
Oh,
so
yeah.
CPAs join. We just started. We have the Real Jobs Grant. So we have
Oh, yes, I know that, yes.
right.
Oh,
so we have some
nice.
students come in. I want to say it could be seniors. Either sophomore, junior year, I forget exactly
In
the
high
years,
school?
but college,
College,
too,
okay.
yeah.
Yep.
And help them come in and sort of learn a lot of soft skills and get some experience. And I know we've actually taken them on as an organization, some as our interns to help.
Oh,
so
that's wonderful.
So where would they go for that information?
So you could just go to the riscpa.org, I believe
Wow.
it is.
A
So.
great resource
Yeah.
for any students out there looking.
Right.
Really.
I think, yeah. So
And they
that-
can have a student membership as well, and they can
Oh,
join
really?
for free and
I'm
sort
learning a lot
of get
here.
involved. And there's a young
Is that
young
new, or-
No, there's a young professional group, so they get together all the time. It's one of our most active committees in the organization, so it's
That's
great.
Oh, I'm going to
Wonderful.
pass that on
Yes.
to a few people I know.
Yeah.
I have grandkids who are in high school, and one has an interest. Oh my goodness, that's great to know.
So
The things you find out,
Right,
it's
yeah.
amazing.
There's
It's
a
like-
Well, I
lot
feel
out
like when
there.
I was in college, like, you went for whatever, let's say 4 years, but that real life experience was missing a little bit. Unless you were
absolutely.
completely career driven.
Right.
I was political science, economics. There wasn't many internships.
Right.
Where I feel today that's a huge part
It's a big
of,
part.
of your bachelor's degree.
Right.
Which I think is important. So you can find out, is this really what I want to
Oh,
do? Before
exactly.
you have all these loans, you're like, oh no, this is not what I want to do.
Exactly,
at all.
exactly.
But I'm in it, so.
Exactly.
So if we had your closest family and friends here and we asked them, what is Erica's biggest, greatest achievement, what would they say about you?
Oh, this would be it. Going off on my own, absolutely. I think this would be it. Yeah, I would think so. You know, yeah. I think my family and friends, and then they live it with me, right? So they can see what I do, and they're seeing, you know, the time I put into it. So, yeah, absolutely.
Probably more time than you've ever put into anything at this point.
Exactly. Yes. So.
And is it true what they say that the first quarter is like your busiest quarter, and like up to April 15th, or? Is that still the same thing?
It is. No, it is, because we're deadline driven, right? So yes. So from January to April, you know, you're pretty much not finding any CPA out there in the real world. You know, maybe once in a while, and then it slows down. So you know, I say at least living in Rhode Island, we're busy when it's snowing and cold, and really, what are you going to do anyways? And then in the summer, we have a little more downtime.
Nice.
So
at least you can have fun and
enjoy.
enjoy.
Right. Exactly.
That's great.
If someone wanted to contact you, how would they get in touch with you?
So they could email me at erica@ehgcpa.com. And so
if any interns are interested in getting involved or need to know more about, should I study accounting or whatever, you'd be willing to help them out.
Absolutely.
Do you do that often as a professor?
I do. Yeah, I do.
I'm sure.
Or even just friends who have family or children, they ask to just chat with them for a little bit, so it's nice.
I was reading about 6 months ago the jobs that they really were going to need people to get re-involved in. I mean, years ago it was nursing, and I think they got lots of nurses. But one of them on the list was teachers. That's why I read it, early childhood teachers. But accountant was on there. That it's declining. Yeah. So this might give everybody like, hey, there's a way to catch into it and look at aspects of it, which is great.
And it's a great career.
Right.
You know, when you almost guaranteed a job.
Right.
People are always going to need an accountant.
Exactly.
Whether you have individual, business, whatnot. And if a lot of people are retiring, like the baby boomers, it provides more opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you find in the type of job you're in, you can almost like control the time? Like if you want to work at night, you can work at night.
Oh, well, right,
That's
exactly.
What I'm saying.
It is flexible in that sense.
You're not going in at 8 instead of 5.
I was going to say, I wish I could control the time.
No. I meant
you know how we could get 25 hours a day. That would be great.
No. You let me know that one too. I'm just saying, if you want to work on a whole Saturday and take a Thursday off, there is that flexibility.
There is a lot of flexibility.
I like that part of it.
There is.
You know what I'm saying? Being your own business owner.
But you have to be self-motivated, I feel.
Oh, yes. It's not for everybody.
Yes.
You know, I was just talking to
like,
No.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. You know, I definitely am very disciplined. So, you know, I'm still up early, and I'm still, you know, making sure that I'm focused and out there, because you could very quickly shift off pattern and
more networking, not so much work.
Exactly.
We have less than a minute. Is there anything you want to add? Just a great show. I learned a lot. I took a lot of notes.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you for having me.
Thank
this is great.
Absolutely. Do you want to say it?
No, I just appreciate your information, and I think it's always really great to see women open their own business, especially in male-dominated industries.
Right.
It's great to see kind of like the glass ceiling broken
Exactly.
a little bit.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.